third week office hour. So as you maybe already know, Professor cannot join us because he is booked up by something very important. And if you have some questions, you can post it through Piazza. And also for some questions, if we Dara and I can answer, we'll do it here. For some others, maybe it is better to post it on the Piazza, so we will forward it to Professor. So, Dara, do you have something to say about the course?
No updates from me right now.
Okay, so. Okay, I think I should apologize for the late post of weekly office hour in the Piazza. I think it should be posted at the beginning of every week, so you can like post questions in advance before the office hour, so we can pick it up and discuss them during the office hour. So I have created one for next week at the fourth weekly hour. So you can post questions there if anything happens during the next week, and we will discuss it during the next office hour and brought it to the professor. So for current one, the Awash is asking about some examples about the register renaming, and okay, for this one, I think the just renaming what it can address is the actually what is the false dependencies. For example, you have writing, you say A equals to B plus C, and A equals to D multiplied by E. So in this case, you cannot schedule these two operations into the value. But if we say renaming the second one to like F equals to D multiplied by E, so these two instructions would be like could be like executing in parallel, so it can be scheduling in a video instructions. But in order to do this in the compiler, you have to like rename every operations use the A. I mean the second A, not the third A. So I think this is the benefit. It addresses the false dependencies like write after write or write after read instructions. And for his second question, he's asking about whether the last cycles with knobs will be counted to a total number of cycles. It's definitely yes, because even though the CPU did nothing, but it's still wasting some cycles. But I think this is a very like occasional case. So no, for the compiler, I don't think they were adding like the knobs at the end of the program. And for the third question is about estimate scheduling without knowing if there is a data dependency. Actually, I didn't get what's the question. So can you explain these questions a little bit clearer to us? Dara, do you know what this question is about?
No, I'm not really sure. Some clarification would be good.
Okay. So that is all of the stuff I have right now. So did anybody have some specific question? Okay, Professor is not here. It could be a very boring night. Okay. For the third question, Avash is asking about is data speculation without knowing if there is a data dependency. I have no clear answer to this question now. Potentially, I will forward it to professor, and I think he will come back to you. Okay, another question from Awash is about the this thoughts cluster is for project, and we are trying our best to set it up as soon as possible. And we have talked to the cluster administration this afternoon. And another thing is maybe you can just using the background on your local machine to install the virtual machine as well as the VMAX2 tunes for a try. Right now, frankly, I have no idea whether the virtual machine used in the previous class is a specialized one. I just checked it, Professor.
Another question from Awash is about this thoughts cluster for project. And
Oh. But yeah, I think you can just following the instructions to try to install a virtual machine by yourself and to set up the VEX. There is a specific like virtual machine structure document for this purpose. You can try that first, but we will ping with our like cluster administration team to set up the account at the deep source as soon as possible, maybe next week. So is there any other questions about the project or homework?
I think you can just following the instructions to try to install a virtual machine by yourself and to set up the
I've just checked and I can confirm that I can now log into the Deep Thought cluster. So it looks like all the accounts have been set up, or at least my account has been set up.
Okay, maybe. Yeah, we have not. We just sent out an email this today and didn't hear back from them yet. So if you can log in it, I think it could be already set up, and you can following the VM virtual machine installation instructions to set up your basic environment. And I will try to get the details about the virtual machine, and if it is especially customized one, we'll copy it and publish it somewhere so you can access it. So in order you want to like set up a local development environment instead of a remote cluster. So that could be a little bit like convenient if you're traveling somewhere or something without like network. You can still do the project on your local laptop.
And I will try to get the details about the virtual machine.
Okay, is there anything else?
I was just thinking, since many of us are, I think, new to this embedded computing and may not have completed the computer architecture course earlier, would it be possible to take very small snippets and give some kind of examples that we are trying to work with?
Sorry, could you help to turn off your speaker and reiterate your questions again? I think you're opening a YouTube for this purpose, right?
I was opening YouTube, but now I'm moved to Hangout.
Okay, you can close the YouTube. So sometimes I hear the two sound resources.
Okay. Am I better audible now?
Yeah, I think it's fine now.
Okay. What I was saying was, since I think many of us do not have a real course for computer architecture, would it be possible to take some small examples and go through them on some things like whatever, let's say, we are having in the lectures or maybe in the assignments, some kind of thing which we can see through that this is what we should do and which we should avoid, kind of thing.
Okay, I think it's not necessary because for this stuff, sure, but it's basically to talking about the architecture used in embedded processors. For general architecture course, they would describe some general stuff and using x86 as example. But here, all of the things actually, I think exactly the same thing about the architecture, but with more focus on the embedded CPU, for example, value. So it's trying to compact some multiple operations into one instructions. And then it's talking about the pipeline, talking about just renaming, talking about superscalar stuff. All of this actually is from architecture, including the figures talking about the data paths. So actually, when you taking architecture course, they also talking something similar to this, but this one is specific to the embedded CPU. So I think if you have some concepts is not very familiar, you can check that concept. Like, for example, if we don't know what is the superscalar, you can check that one. But I don't think so. You need to take a full review of the architectural stuff for this course. I don't think it is necessary if you don't have that. But if you have that background, it could be very easier to understanding all of current stuffs. Right. So, yeah. As well as something talking about a branch, the only difference is when you do architecture on the general computing, it can take the hardware can take a lot of things about it can do the just renaming by hardware without the need of the software stuff. But in this case, you want to do the register renaming with compiler. It's kinds of software level solutions to the same idea. Another thing is for the general computing, it has something what is called a buffer to when you do some speculative executions, it can buffer all of the results inside the hardware, but it's not visible to the software until the project condition is already resolved. Make sure it is visible to the users. All of this is controlled by the hardware, but in our case, I think some of this stuff will be controlled by the compilers based on the understanding of what architecture is provided. I think that is the only difference is. So it's trying to migrating some architecture functional in general computing to the compiler stuff.
And this project that we have got is to be done along with a teammate, not individually. Is it correct?
Yeah, it is a team project. So for your team, you need for a specific team, you need to compare two projects. This is the first one.
I'm just trying to go through. I've just started going through the virtual machine setup instructions,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm getting errors from when I execute the command vagrant box add Ubuntu Trusty 32. It's giving me an error saying it can't find it in the catalog. So I wonder if the instructions need updating.
Oh, it is. Where are you trying? Are you trying on the dev thought cluster?
Yes, this is on Deep Thought.
Mm-hmm. I think there is probably something is missing. I will double check with the administration team to make sure it is ready. I will try to my first and come back to you. I think hopefully next Monday. But thanks for giving me this information.
It does seem to be working when I run it on using Vagrant on my desktop, so there must be some misconfiguration.
Mm-hmm. Okay, is there any other questions? Or do you have any other experience want to share? It is fine too.
Hello, this is Indrajit here. I have a question about the homework submission. Is it okay to submit the homework multiple times on Canvas?
Yes, just before the final deadline. That's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, are you guys still have some other questions?
Yeah, not at this moment. I think. I guess probably once we get started with the project and probably next hangout we might have a lot of doubts.
Okay, no problem. Yeah. So if you have like some other questions comes up, you can post it on the Piazza too, and I will forward it to Professor. And if you don't have the other questions, I think we will stop here for current office hour.
Okay. You
So
guys
are
have
you
a good
guys?
night.
Do all of you have access to the Deep Thought now? Have you tried to access it? It is successful?
Yeah, I tried it. Actually, I tried it with the numerical ID first, so that didn't work. But with the regular login, it worked.
Okay, that's tradition. It's tricky. I cannot access it yet. Okay, I will check with the administration team for this. Okay, thanks guys, and we will stop here, and hope to see you next week. Have a
Thank you.
good night. Bye.